Rangers baseball presented by Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. As we welcome you to Southern California, another beautiful night tonight, ready for the rubber match between the Angels and the Rangers here from Angels Stadium. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you once again tonight. I'm Dave Raymond alongside Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve, and really kind of an interesting beginning to this series. The first two games, these two teams have split. They have also figured two very different ways to win games as a pitching staff.
Well, they definitely have, Dave. The opener of the series found the Rangers win in conventional style. They went with their best starter, Mike Minor, who pitched a nice game, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. Ran his record for the season to 12-7. Last night, the Angels did it entirely differently. Their starting pitcher was a reliever, Jim Johnson. After that, the bullpen would pitch 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, and 1 walk. For the game, they used 8 pitchers. So each team did it differently. Each team's won 1. Tonight's the rubber match.
So now actually kind of an interesting note tonight. This is a rarity anymore. Traditional starting pitchers on both sides in this.
Yeah, it'll be Giovanni Gallardo for the Rangers. Giovanni has been solid for the Rangers this year. He's gone 8-4, had a nice game against the Angels back in August. Felix Pena goes for the Angels tonight. He's a converted reliever, came over from the Cubs last year. He's got a good arm. He's been throwing the ball very well, trying to work himself into the plans next year for the Angels.
I'm hoping for more good pitching tonight. Also, a couple little side stories worth keeping your eye on tonight, and we'll put those two possibilities in the spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. By the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. A couple of things that you could witness tonight. Adrian Beltre just 1 hit shy of tying George Brett on the all-time hit list at number 15 all-time. So he could pass George Brett even as recently as tonight. Jose Leclerc, meanwhile, working on a 16-inning scoreless streak, second longest active streak right now in the game. You can see opposing hitters just 2 for 46 against him. Maybe he'll get a shot late in the game to continue that. Well, we're looking forward to it. A rubber match between these two division rivals. We'll have the first pitch and starting lineups in a moment. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. we should be. Maybe we'll head there afterwards. Beautiful shot of the beach here in Southern California as we prepare for the final game of this 3-game series. Rangers and the Angels, long-time division rivals, and of course after splitting the first 2 games of this series, a rubber match today. Angels, they're still fighting for a winning season. Los Angeles at now what, 72 and 73, a game under 500 with less than 3 weeks to go. Rangers trying to spoil their attempts at that, and this will not be the last we see of the Angels this year. Jeff Bannister and crew, they will be right back here on our next road trip to Los Angeles. We'll play 3 more here and then off to Seattle. So still a little more Angels in our lives this season. But for now, it's all about trying to win this series tonight. The Angels take the field. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. The Rangers 62 wins, 83 losses. This is game number 146. And our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Shin-Soo Choo getting the start in left field. Rougned Odor at second base. Elvis Andrus at short will bat third. Mazzara, Beltre, and Jurickson Profar at third base in the middle of the order. Joey Gallo in center. Robinson Chirinos catching, and Ronald Guzman at first base rounds it out for the Rangers.
The Shiner Day Quencher pitch arsenal for Felix Pena. 2-seam fastball, sinking fastball, throws that the most 45% of the time, also mixes in a 4-seamer. His breaking pitch is a slider, throws a lot of them and occasionally mixes in a changeup 8% of the time. He's got a good arm. His fastball can reach the mid-90s, doesn't necessarily pitch there all day long, but it can reach there. He's a converted reliever. Most of his appearances, in fact, his first 38 major league appearances were in relief. This will be his 15th start. It's going pretty well for him. Let's take a look at the Angels defense, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Pretty much the conventional outfield, Upton, Trout, and Calhoun. If you play the Angels, that's generally who you see in the outfield. In the infield, they change it up a little bit. Taylor Ward's at third. Andrelton Simmons at shortstop. David Fletcher's established himself as the second baseman. Jose Fernandez hit a home run last night. And behind the plate, Francisco Arcia.
So we are set to go here in the final game of this series. Great to have you along with us on a Wednesday evening. Last night's game, that was unique in so many ways. And it was just the second time in the last 28 years the Rangers allowed 2 or fewer hits in a loss. The other time it was against the Angels here in Anaheim. That was a 1-0 loss in July of 2011. So weird one last night, 1-0. Angels won it. Rangers will try to turn it around tonight. Shin-Soo Choo ready to go, and he takes a strike from Pena. Underway tonight, 76 degrees. At the first pitch. Choo bounces one on the ground right side. Fletcher right there coming in for it. And there's one away. Well, our Kubota power stats for Felix Pena. The Rangers have done a good job working the count, especially on this road trip, but that might not be a real good strategy tonight. Here's a guy who has not walked a batter in the last 15 2/3 innings. That's 55 consecutive batters, and it's the 5th longest streak right now active in baseball. So he's out there to throw strikes and see the opposition put it in play. So Choo went after him on the second pitch, but grounded out, and now here is Odor. And Rugi takes a strike. So Rugi with 18 home runs and 63 RBIs. See his overall numbers, and what a good year it has been for him. 3 hits and 16 tries on this road trip. Has a double, is driven in 3. Going to the count. Rugi since the All-Star break. Now this is how he ranks in the American League. It's 12 home runs, 3rd most, 39 RBIs. Up there in the top 10 in slugging, hits, extra base hits. Really been a delightful and long stretch for Odor. Well, he strikes out swinging here. Picked up by Arcia. He'll throw it down to first to take care of Odor. 2 away.
You can see that's the slider. Looks almost like a curveball, but he calls it a slider, and he throws that pitch a lot. He had a game not too long ago where he struck out 12. And he's not overpowering with his fastball. Occasionally he's got a little extra there and reach the mid-90s, but for the most part it's the low 90s. But that slider looks like a pretty good pitch, and when he does get strikeouts, I would guess that a lot of them come on that slider.
And there's the breaking ball to Elvis Andrus. Elvis 0 for 4 yesterday with a strikeout. Couple of home runs on this road trip. Pardon me. 2 for 18 on this road trip.
Well, the Rangers haven't been scoring like they were a little bit earlier. And if you look at the top of their lineup, you can see one of the reasons why. Shin-Su's been in a little bit of a downturn for 3 weeks. So is Rugi, and Elvis, over 100 at bats, is hitting about 200. So 3 dependable guys in the lineup who were all hot together at the time when the Rangers were scoring a lot of runs have kind of cooled off together over the last few weeks. Hopefully the last 3 weeks of the season, all 3 will get hot together and the Rangers will be scoring like they were right after the All-Star break.
1 and 2 on Andrus. How disruptive can a night like last night be? Is every night just a separate event for a hitter?
I think so. I think so.
That was a funky one last night. The 8 pitchers. It's a swing and a miss. And Andrus strikes out. It's a 1-2-3. Top of the first. So Pena off to a very nice start. And now Giovanni Gallardo goes to work. The Angels will get their hacks, 72 and 73. Look at their lineup. Cole Calhoun leading it off in right. David Fletcher at second. Mike Trout in center field. Otani's the DH batting cleanup. Upton in left field. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop, bats sixth. Jose Fernandez at first. Taylor Ward on the other side of the infield at third. And Fernando Arcia, the catcher, rounds it out. All that against Giovanni Gallardo. 8 wins, 4 losses, and a .545 ERA. It's his 15th start as a Ranger this year. Chirinos, I'm not sure what that signal was from behind the plate. First pitch swinging. And Calhoun rolls it way out there to Odor in right field, 1 away.
The Shiner Day Quencher pitch arsenal for Giovanni Gallardo. 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam fastball. I think you just saw the 2-seam fastball. First pitch ground out to second base. Slider, curveball, and a changeup. That's a pretty varied repertoire that he features. Early in his career, I think he was more of a power pitcher, mid-90s fastball, hard breaking ball. And he's had to adapt a little bit as he's gotten older, more of a finesse pitcher now.
Goes after Fletcher and misses with ball one. 278 average for Fletcher. The one homer. And he takes a strike. Fletcher getting on at a 322 average. There's Chirinos doing the catching tonight for Gallardo. And Chirinos has been the primary guy once again behind the plate this year. Tom, you look, you played the game. Catchers, they oftentimes set up defenses, make signals. Tell us this signal right here. What is it?
I think he's saying
reset the shot clock.
I have no idea, but if I had to guess, he might have been saying the sky is that gray color sky. It might be hard to pick up the ball. The infielders generally pick it up better than the outfielders, so maybe he's telling the infielders on a pop-up, take it if you can. Might be a tough play for the outfielder.
A tough play there for Profar, who got it with a bare hand, but rushed the throw a little bit, and Fletcher not only reaches, but will advance to second base on the error. That might go as a hit and an error. We'll see.
And not an easy play. He chose to barehand the ball. It took a nice hop to him. Had time to make the play. And when it's all over and done with, not a hard play for a big league third baseman. He just maybe rushed the throw a little bit, sailed on him. And if you throw it wide of Ronald Guzman, then you haven't made a very good throw, because if it's close, he'll be able to stretch those long arms and make the play.
It was a two-base error. So Fletcher out there at second now for Mike Trout. And Trout takes a high strike. Not a lot needs to be said when you look at Trout's numbers there at the bottom of your screen. Even a novice could look at those and know that this is one of the best hitters in the game. And he certainly is. He's now reached base safely in 16 of the last 21 plate appearances. Hits this ball hard out to left field. Ranging back on that one too. And he makes the play just in front of the wall. So 2 away. That is a loud out.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense tonight. It's delivered by Chicken Express. Shin-Soo Choo just made the play. He's in left field. Joey Gallo gets a start in center field tonight. Nomar is around in right field. In the infield, Jurickson Profar at third. Elvis at short. Rougned Odor at second. Ronald Guzman is at first base, and behind the plate, Robinson Chirinos.
Now big to take care of Trout. Gallardo now will face this man, Shohei Ohtani. You see the rookie's numbers. And those are great numbers, but you also might do well to take into consideration that it has not been a full season in terms of plate appearances or at-bats for Ohtani. He's missed a lot of that time because of his pitching responsibilities. Just 265 at-bats this year. And yet still closing in on 20 homers and 55 RBIs. Fouls that one away. 0-2 the count.
Oh, Ohtani's going right at him with belt-high fastballs to get ahead in the count. A little bit late on both of them.
Ohtani, 24 years old, and he takes high. 1-2 the count. A true rookie, signed in the offseason, and he was the object of conversation for all of baseball. Really, I don't know, what was it, like 3 months of that decision-making process, maybe longer. Stays 1-2. Everybody initially was courting him. He started to narrow down the field a little bit. It was largely West Coast teams, the Rangers involved. In fact, Rangers down to the final handful of teams that Ohtani was entertaining. But eventually, I think kind of stunned a lot of people when he landed with the Angels. 1-2. Fouled away.
And I think a lot of those plans and conversations centered around what were the team's plans for him and how did they coincide with what he wanted to do as far as pitching and hitting. A lot of people felt like being from Japan, playing on the West Coast, might have been a factor.
Gallardo's 1-2 and a swing and a miss. He strikes him out. So the inning is done. Angels leave a man out there. A scoreless first inning. Back for the second in a moment. Nomar Mazara will lead it off for the Rangers when we return. And you can manage your team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18, it's available now. You can learn more at RBIGame.com. It's rated E for everyone. All right, Nomar Mazara to start things off here in the second inning. Pena was pretty sharp in the first, a couple of strikeouts. And he misses low with ball one. Nomar with the 20 homers and the 74 RBIs. 20 home runs now in each of his first 3 seasons in the big leagues. A chance to surpass that 20 homer plateau this year with still plenty of time left in the regular season. It's this ball on the ground up the middle, and that one is through for a base hit. So the Rangers get their first hit of the night a whole lot earlier than they did yesterday. That brings up Adrian Beltre, our TXU Energy power player to watch. Beltre's had a lot of fun against the Angels over the years. When you look at home runs against this Angels franchise, A-Rod with 70, Palmeiro had 49, Nelson Cruz 49, and there's Beltre, 4th most of any player. Angels fans certainly in tune to the threat of Adrian Beltre. He takes a strike. Season numbers for Beltre, the 12 home runs and the 55 RBIs, and a lot of the power production up lately. Hitless last night in his 4 tries. A little low, it's 1-1. Month of September for Beltre has been good, just a shade under 300. 5 homers, 8 RBIs in the 10 games. You can throw a double in there as well.
Take a look at the spray chart for Adrian. If you look at the highest percentage, it's 33%. And unfortunately, Andrelton Simmons has that covered. But he sprays the ball around. Again, a few more to left field. But not the kind of spray chart that would say dead pull hitter by any means.
Boy, hits this ball hard out to left field. Playable for Upton, one away.
I'd have to say in this series, 2 games plus the start of this game, there's been a large number of balls hit hard and caught. Some right at players, some that the outfielders had to run down. Trout ran down one in center field, made a really nice play. Already today, there's been a couple of balls hit hard. That ball was hit hard. Most important play, though, had to be the play that Caleb Coward made last night against Jurickson Profar. Had a chance to put the Rangers ahead and made that one hop.
Slicer down the line.
I was watching the infielder.
Upton able to get to that one. 2 away.
Nice play by Upton. He went a long way to make that play. That's fairly close to home plate and in foul territory for him to come and make a play. It's going to be a very tough play for Taylor Ward, the third baseman. And Upton came in, made an easy play, but had to go a long ways to make it. Coward was playing third base last night when Profar hit the one hopper to his right. Made a nice backhanded play. Turned it into an out instead of a 2-run base hit.
Yeah, that was a biggie. The only inning really where the Rangers threatened is this one spiked out in front of the plate. Ball 1 to Joey Gallo. Rangers were no hit into the 8th inning last night, and with 1 out, finally Kiner Falefa singled into right field off Blake Parker, and then 1 out later, Rougned Odor with a base hit. Rookie would then steal second, so they had second and third, down 1-0. The Angels made a pitching change. They brought in Ty Buttrey, and that's when Profar hit that ground ball to third base, and a really nice play by Cowart into the threat, preserved the 1-0 lead for the Angels, and that's how we would finish. Definitely a unique game last night, and kind of an entertaining one. 8 pitchers used by the Angels in a 1-0 shutout. This one to the left side, out of play for a foul ball. 2-1 on Gallo.
You know, you were talking, Dave, would a game like that have any carryover effect? And generally speaking, I don't think a game like that or any game really has a carryover effect. Players grow up playing baseball, and when you're playing every day like you do in professional baseball, you learn to put a game behind you and look forward to the next one. But I think that game presents a real challenge for the hitters, because you never see a pitcher more than once. For instance, the starting pitcher you may see 3 or 4 times, and you might get a little bit comfortable with the way he's pitching you and what kind of stuff he has. But last night the Rangers saw 8 different pitchers, and the Angels have a good bullpen. So the 8 guys they saw all threw well, all had good stuff, and were all different. Lefties, righties, sinker ball pitchers, 96-mile-an-hour guys. And I think that presents a definite challenge for the hitters when you see a guy like that, different every time you come to the plate.
2-2 to Gallo, fouled away.
I think that kind of a game that kind of an approach to a game can be effective for a team when you go to your bullpen. You can't do it all the time because you'd wear them out. You won't have enough guys to do it. But every now and then, I think it can be a real effective way to win a game. I mean, you were talking about the A's, and in their 1-game playoff, if they do go to New York to play the Yankees, if the bullpen is the strength, then maybe that would be a
ball in the dirt, and a late start, but Mazzara able to get to second base. He moves up on the wild pitch.
That would be a good plan for the A's, and I would agree with you on that it might be. It might be something that Bob Melvin actually tries to do.
Yeah, I think when you're in a 5 or 7 game series, it's hard. That puts a lot of pressure on on the arms. Although with as much travel is built into the postseason now too,
Couple off days.
We might see more and more of that. The A's are going to have two days off prior to that wild card game. They'll have plenty of time to have everybody ready. But Gallo strikes out swinging. Rangers leave a man in scoring position after 1.5, no score. Miss a minute of the action next year, the final year at Globe Life Park. Full and half-season tickets for next year are on sale now. As a 2019 season ticket holder, you'll also secure your place in line for season tickets in the new Globe Life Field, which opens in 2020. Head to TexasRangers.com/seasons or call 972-RANGERS today. Gallardo right in there with a strike to Justin Upton to begin things here in the second. No score. Rangers have the one hit so far here in the early going. Gallardo right back in there with strike two.
It was a good battle that he had with Ohtani. Threw him a lot of high fastballs. Ohtani a little bit late on him, fouled them off, and got him with a changeup.
He just carves up Upton right there.
Sure
Strikeout to start the second.
Pitches was a changeup in that at bat too. Finishes him off with a cut fastball right in the outside corner.
So one out, and here is Andrelton Simmons. And Gallardo right at him. Strike one. Simmons, one of those guys though who does have good numbers against Gallardo, and this is, there are a couple of them, but Simmons 7 for 12 against Giovanni. So better than 500 batting average against him, including a home run. Gallardo, a veteran, been around a little bit, 32 years old. And there's a base hit for Andrelton Simmons. He's now 8 for 13.
Well, that's about as nicely as you can shoot a line drive to right field as a right-hand hitter. It's a perfect pitch to do it on, a fastball belt high on the outside part of the plate. But that was a great swing, and I don't know that Simmons can hit a line drive to right field any harder than that.
So the man on, Jose Fernandez, the hero last night for the Angels, and he takes one off the plate for a ball. Fernandez with a first career home run last night. It's the only run scored in the game. takes on the inside corner. He became last night the oldest Angels player to hit his first career home run as a rookie. He was 30 years old, 30 and a half really. Just a little bit older than Felix Torres was in 1962 when he hit his first home run. 1-2 the count on Fernandez.
Yeah, Giovanni's had some pretty good off-speed pitches. A changeup is really a good pitch for him early in the game. It's what he struck O'Connor out with. Got a strike on Upton with it. And you can see Fernandez way out in front of the changeup in this at-bat, too.
Little pause, and that one off the plate.
Giovanni had a start against the Angels on August 19th. Got a no decision in that game. The Rangers won the game. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts in that game. So pitched really well against the Angels. That game was in Texas.
We'll have to keep an eye on Simmons. Hamilton can run a little bit, and he's going. There's a swing and a miss. No, he stops and heads back to first.
He would have been out by 78 feet.
Fernandez strikes out, and Simmons. That was. Hey, listen, I give a guy credit. At least he knew to come back.
And Robinson's view, he sees him start, but his view's blocked by the hitter, so he's not positive what Simmons is doing. He just knows he's going. Dugout would scream out going, and so he fired the ball down there. And Simmons made a really nice choice to go back. Another off-speed pitch by Gallardo.
So his third strikeout already.
Yeah, 3 strikeouts. And on the other side, Pena's got 3 strikeouts too, all with his slider.
So now the 8th place hitter, Taylor Ward. And he'll take a strike, 1-1.
Some nights for a pitcher, you just have a better feel for your changeup than you do on other nights. There's probably a lot of games where Giovanni pitches and maybe it's a slider that he likes to use. Tonight, at least early in the game, 28 pitches into the game, changeup has been a very effective pitch for him. Probably thrown 6 or 7 of them. Just about every one of them has been a strike.
Falls behind here 2-1 to the rookie Taylor Ward. Ward 24 years old, and he was one of the top prospects in the Angel system going into this year. That one misses. 3-1. Ward, a guy who this year transitioned defensively to third base after being exclusively a catcher in his first 3 professional seasons in the minor leagues. This year at spring training, they said, well, what do you think about third? And not only did he make the switch, but he's moved his way all the way to the big leagues this year. So a successful year for Taylor Ward. No matter how you slice it, he was very good at the plate in the minor leagues, and obviously good enough defensively. 3-1, and he hits this ball sharply but foul. Look out. Some seats down that left field line, actually down both lines that are out on the field, or at least in front of where the old stands used to begin, and they are not as well protected. That tested the quickness of some of those fans down there.
The whole key is, well, there's 2 keys. Bring a glove, number 1. At least you can protect yourself with a glove. Even if you never played baseball, you can at least block the ball. But the most important thing is don't take your eye off any pitch. Because when you least expect it, that's when it's coming your way. And the veteran, Dave Burchett, offers one more. Stay off your phone during a baseball game.
Yeah, he delivered it like a dad, too.
Yep.
That guy says,
that
whatever,
guy's as old as Dave is, but message still applies.
But now the 9th place hitter, Fernando Arcia. Simmons at second, Ward at first after that walk. And Gallardo gets a high strike call. Arcia with 3 homers and 15 RBIs this year. He's a free swinger. To a stretch earlier in the month, an 0 for 21 stretch. So there have been some good days and some bad days for Arcia. But when I say he's a bit of a free swinger, he has 1 walk and 22 strikeouts. A couple of base runners out there for him, Simmons and Ward. That's tight, 2-1. Gallardo, formerly a Ranger, opening day starter 2015, and has circled back again this year, a mid-season pickup by the Rangers. Different guy, though. I mean, absolutely a different guy. Works with a much different tempo, and he talked about it when he arrived. About how he's made a conscious effort to get the ball, have some conviction, and throw it. This one ripped down the first base line, fair ball. And that's trouble. Simmons is home. Ward being waved. And the relay throw will be late. It's a 2-run double by Arcia. And so the Angels score first tonight. Jump out to the 2-0 lead.
Well, with a little luck, that ball hooks another inch or two and goes foul. Unfortunately, it hugged the foul line. See Arcia way out in front of that pitch, but not out in front of it quite enough for the Rangers' liking. He got a hit right on the foul line. A couple inches to the right was a foul ball. Instead, it's a 2-run double.
Bottom of the order has been tough these last couple of nights. Arcia now in scoring position for Calhoun. Grounded out in the first inning. He takes a high strike. Calhoun, one of the most stunning turnarounds this season of any hitter in the American League. Through the month of May, was hitting like sub 150 and had 1 home run. And since then, he has returned to his old form. Has 17 home runs since June 1st. Hitting for a much higher average, has brought the total up to 221 for the year.
And June 8th, he was hitting 145.
Takes a strike, and it's 1-2.
There are a number of players that got off to starts like that. Paul Goldschmidt got off to a terrible start, too. He's almost hitting 300 now. Rugi, we saw Rugi get off to a terrible start and turn it around.
One-two pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Calhoun strikes out. 4th strikeout of the night for Gallardo. But he gives up the first 2 runs of the game as we head to the 3rd.
2-0. Felix Pena off to a good start. He's had 3 strikeouts. They've all come on his slider. It's a big slider, more like a slurve, not quite a curveball, a little more than a traditional slider, but it's been very effective. In our pitch arsenal, we showed that he throws that a lot too, 35% of the time. He had a game where he struck out 12 this year. He struck out almost a batter per inning, 73 and 75 innings coming into the game tonight. And you'd have to guess, based on 2 innings tonight, that the slider is the pitch that he gets a lot of his strikeouts with. And for a hitter, for a Ranger hitter tonight, who hasn't faced him, I think it's more difficult for a hitter the first time you face a guy to catch up with a good breaking ball than it is a fastball.
This one, a flare out to center field by Chirinos, so he is on with a hit to start this 3rd inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's say hello to Rick Renner. He's a pretty good ball player, that Alex Bregman.
You can get used to watching him in the All-Star game for about 10 straight years. That kid's a ball player, boy. Plays with a little bit of an edge. Kind of like Rugi in that respect. If you're an opponent, you know, he may rub you the wrong way. Ian Kinsler was a little bit like that. But he plays hard. A winner.
Chirinos off first, and they pitch a little low.
Now, when you're picking high in the draft, what was he, the 3rd pick in the draft? Second pick in the draft. When you've got a top 5 pick, you just hope that a player like that is available when you pick. Some years, there's parity, and there's really not much that separates the first couple of picks from the 6th or 7th pick. And there's other years where there's a player that just really stands out. And I'm not sure coming into the draft exactly how he stood out compared to other players that were picked right around him. But he sure has distanced himself from most of them now, the way he's playing. He got to the big leagues quickly.
Check swing, and Guzzi did not check it up. Went around 2-2.
Close, but I think he went.
This one lifted high in the air out to left. Upton coming in. And there's one out in the inning. So we'll turn the lineup over for Shin-Soo Choo. Well, the draft we're talking about, the 2015 draft, where Bregman went 2nd. Dansby Swanson was the 1st overall pick in that draft, and there's that type of talent you're talking about.
I'm sure both of those kids were looked at probably in the same light. Who knows? If the Braves had taken Bregman first, Astros probably would have taken Swanson. They're 2 really good college shortstops. Swanson got to the big leagues quickly, and kind of a shocking trade. He was actually traded to the Braves. He was drafted by Arizona.
Yeah, that was a head turner.
Yeah, that was a shocker. Whoa.
Choo shoots this one up the middle. That's a base hit. 3rd hit of the night for the Rangers, and Chirinos stops out there at second base. So a couple of base runners here in the 3rd now.
You know, all the Ranger hits have come on the fastball. That one came in at 92 and probably went back out toward him at about 102. That's one as a pitcher. You don't have a whole lot of time to react. You take a deep breath and say, thank goodness it was 2 feet over my head.
So good spot here now for Rougned Odor. Rugi struck out in the 1st. First pitch off the plate for a ball. Time for our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard, and you look at the average with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. The Red Sox and Pirates, the only teams with better numbers than the Rangers. They have been really good. since the Midsummer Classic. Ruge, one of the guys who has led the charge. And a big second half for him. He has Chirinos out there at second and Chu at first. Pena's 1-0. Ooh, a swing and a miss, 1-1. So by the way, also in that 2015 draft, in the top 10 picks, Andrew Benintendi. Red Sox took him 7th. I think 2 picks later, Ian Happ went to the Cubs. I mean, that was a pretty good draft.
Yeah, that was a good year to be picking in the top 10 with position players, for sure.
One. And Odor takes outside.
You don't ever want to be picking in the top 10. Means you had a bad year the year before. But when you are, you just hope that the talent, it's a really deep talent pool. And when you're in the position to have the number 1 or number 2 pick, sometimes it's Alex Rodriguez, sometimes it's Bryce Harper.
Odor shoots this one high in the air out to center field. Trout gets in position. Chirinos tags at second, but he won't test the arm. He'll hold. 2 away. Well, I thought that was one of the interesting things we learned on that front office night. You hear varying numbers about, the percentage chance for kids to accomplish one thing or the other. But the reality is, if you're drafted, you have a 3% shot getting to the big leagues. 3%.
Yeah, I wonder what it is after the first round.
Yeah, pretty low. Pretty low. Because the first round, I want to say first round's around 50 or 60% chance.
And that's just playing a day in the big league.
Yeah. Line drive center field. Chirinos going to be waved as he rounds third base. The ball skips off the mound. And Chirinos just tagged at the plate to end the inning. Thought it may have taken a little hop that would allow him to get in, but Chirinos gunned down. And the Rangers leave a couple on. We're the bottom of the third, 2-0. In the inning, and this is what he did to end the top half of the inning.
Now the ball took 2 hops and still was very accurate right on the plate. We saw the throw that Mike made last night from deep in left field to third base. Not for an out, but it was just a strong throw. And there's a strong, accurate throw to make a play at the plate. And when you look at his overall game, I think that's one area that's improved. He's actually, I think, increased his arm strength since he was a younger player. Very accurate with his throws now. And when you see those 2 throws that he's made in this series, I think you see someone who's worked hard at honing every aspect of his game. You know his speed, you know his power, you know what he does offensively. But in this series, we've seen his defense running down balls in center field and a nice, strong, accurate arm that he has.
Fletcher pops up the first pitch of the inning. Right to Guzman in foul ground for the first out of the inning. And now here is Mike Trout. Trout's one of those interesting guys, man. I mean, he is so good at everything he does, and all-around best player in the game. And yet, I don't know, he just doesn't draw your attention in the same way some players do. You know, not as splashy or flashy at times. Never been one to.
Well, he doesn't tweet out stupid things.
Well, that is true.
He's not controversial.
No. No. And it's not like he's a recluse, but he's certainly not looking for attention.
I think he's one of those guys that's admired by the fans, he's admired by his teammates, and he's admired by everyone who plays against him. They like the way he plays the game. There's players who are inferior on the field to him who make more noise off the field and maybe get more publicity in that regard. But as you said, Dave, I don't think that's what he's looking for. He's making his mark in the batter's box and in center field and on the bases.
Flied out in the first inning, but it was a well-struck ball to left field. Full count now. We've been monitoring his walks to strikeouts. I mean, he struck out 111 times this year. It's tough to walk more than you strike out when you strike out more than 100 times, but he has. Stays alive here. It's 3-2. 112 walks for Trout.
It's kind of the same thing if you don't walk that much. Like if you don't strike out that much, if you strike out a lot, it takes a lot of walks. But if you don't walk very much, you can't strike out very much either. You know, like Andrelton Simmons. Let's see how much he strikes out.
This ball.
He's pretty much right there. He's only walked 32 times. Not many walks, but he's only struck out 34 times. So he's almost walking as much as he strikes out too. So if you are a guy that's a little bit prone to the strikeout and walk that much, that's pretty incredible for your on-base percentage. I guess in the overall scheme of things.
There's a high pop-up out to short center field. That's a long run for Joey Gallo, but he gets to it. 2 away.
In the overall scheme of things, if you were going to walk as much as you strike out, you'd want your guy to strike out as much as possible, because if he strikes out 200 times and walks 200 times, he's going to have an incredible on-base percentage. And the opposite of that, I guess, would be Simmons. Let's say he walks and strikes out about 35 times. Well, it's nice that he doesn't strike out very much, and maybe he moves some runners, but his on-base percentage is going to pretty much reflect what his batting average is.
Here's Ohtani now. Yeah, Andrelton Simmons has a .338 on-base percentage. That's good. That's great.
But he's had to hit 290 to get it.
Yeah. Trout's on base .467. Roll off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes to Ohtani. Ohtani, the reigning American League Player of the Week. He struck out in the first inning, and he hits his ball hard out to right field. Mazzara raises the glove, but that one's over his head. Ohtani cruises to second base, and he slides in there with a double.
Elvis thinks he's got him. He's running off the field. But that ball was smoked. That thing got over Nomar's head before he could even look at it. That is a rocket of a line drive. Got there so quickly that gave Nomar a chance to make the play at second base. Elvis is pretty certain that he was out at second. We'll take a look and see. I don't know. Trip Gibson's a second base umpire right on top of it, in perfect position to make that call.
Now the Rangers, after checking it out, have decided they will not challenge it. So Ohtani with his 19th double of the year. But you're right, he almost hit that so hard that it turned into an out.
I'd like to see the speed of the ball off the bat on that. That would be in the 112 to 116 range. Now, Mookie Betts is a hitter. He's kind of in the middle, walking and striking out. Hasn't quite walked as much. 74 walks, 79 strikeouts. And for a power hitter, the strikeouts really aren't that much. His on-base percentage is .432.
Oh, ball to Justin Upton. So that double by Ohtani, 108 miles per hour.
That's all?
Off the bat. Yeah.
Wow. Sure looked harder than that.
I'm with you. 2-0. Quick throw down to second base, but Ohtani able to get back in there. Chirinos not giving him any slack. Upton struck out in the second inning. And hits this ball hard out to left field on the slide. That one gets past Chu and all the way to the fence. Ohtani is in. Upton around second, trying for third. He'll be in there without a throw. And it's 3-0 Los Angeles.
Nice try by Chu. Rangers already have a couple of runs in the game. He's trying to cut off a run by making that diving play. And with 2 outs, the risk is not that great. If you can make a diving play and take the run off the board, that's exactly what he was trying to do. And if you miss it, fine, the run scores. But there's 2 outs. Upton ends up at third, but with 2 outs, it's not quite as critical. No outs, maybe he played a little safer, but with 2 outs, I think that was a risk well worth taking.
Fun attempt by Andrelton Simmons.
Yeah, not a bad play. You've got Profar playing way in back of third base. If he gets the bunt down anywhere past the pitcher, it's a base hit. So in that particular case, man on third, not much difference between a line drive to center field or a bunt down the third baseline, trying to get that run in. Jurickson's moved in now, even with a bag.
One ball, 1 strike on Simmons, who singled and scored in the second. By the way, the ball hit by Upton there, that triple, a little bit harder than Ohtani's.
Boy, I sure didn't look like it.
Over 109 miles per hour.
I would have said like 104 for that one and 113 for the other one.
Well, Upton was moving around the bases too. He was determined he was going to get a triple out of that thing. 1-2 pitch. That's off the plate. It's the first triple of the year for Upton. So Gallardo has been touched up for 3 runs on 4 hits. And this one pulled foul. Angels starting to make some pretty good contact. Stays 2-2. In the American League West today, the Houston Astros and Oakland both won their ball games today. So the Astros continue a 3-game lead over the A's with 16 games to go in the regular season.
Oakland's won 6 straight. Houston won 10 out of 11.
Yeah, Houston figured it out in the nick of time. You know, Oakland started to make them sweat a little bit, but Houston decided just to put the pedal down a little bit.
It's a good thing they did. The A's would have overtaken them. They played great. So far, the lack of starting pitching is not holding them back at all.
Soft flare out to the right side of the infield, but there's nobody to cover first base. Great job by Odor to get to the baseball. Simmons has a hit, and the Angels add to their lead. It's now 4-0.
Yeah, Ronald is playing off the bag, and it's a little blooper. I think off the bat he thought he might be able to catch it, but what he's relying on, knowing he can't get back to first base, is for the pitcher to cover first base. And on that little blooper, I'm sure Giovanni probably registered with him that it was going to be caught, and he was a little late getting over there to cover, and so Rugi's got the ball in time to make a play, but didn't have anybody to throw it to.
So Fernandez, who struck out in the second inning, up there with a man on. 2 out, 2 quick outs, but Angels striking for a little offense here in the early innings against Gallardo. Ooh, Fernandez turns on this one down the right field line. If it stays fair, it is gone. Back-to-back nights for Jose Fernandez. That's a 2-run homer tonight. Angels now lead 6-0.
Angels hit for the cycle this inning, and it really comes into play now when the ball that Simmons hit, the little blooper that Rugi got to, when that's not turned into an out. Unfortunately, Fernandez came up and really put an exclamation point on this inning. A single, a double, a triple, and a homer. The homer came last, and it's 4 runs in.
Fouled away, 1-1 the count. Our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. Rangers have Austin Bibbins Dirks getting loose in a hurry. Gallardo approaching now 70 pitches for the night, but he's ahead here, 1-2 on Taylor Ward. One hopper shortstop. Nice snag by Anderson. He throws out Ward for the final out of the inning. Think about Elvis. That's a great play. Inning done. And we will go to the 4th inning. Rangers down 6-0. the remainder of this ball game. We have the heart of the order coming. Mazara, Beltre, and Profar. And Pena is feeling pretty good there. The first inning really looked sharp. Worked around a hit in the second inning. Right now, I got to be feeling like Superman with a 6-0 lead, and he pumps one right in there for a strike to Nomar. Off the plate, 1-1. Zara singled in the second inning. 1 of 4 Rangers hits so far. We're coming off a game last night where the two teams combined for 4 hits. Rangers have 4 hits in the first 3 innings. Shoot, the Angels had 4 hits in the bottom of the 3rd. It was a weird night last night. Now 2-2 the count. But that was one of those almost like flashback evenings. Those are so rare anymore where you see pitchers dominate a game start to finish the way they did last night. 2-2. And Nomar shanks another one. Really fun to see Adrian Sampson get out there for the start last night. Went 5 innings, allowed a run on 2 hits. It's the second start of his career. Been nearly 2 starts since his, or rather 2 years rather, since his first start back with the Mariners. An important, a really meaningful night for Adrian Sampson. Pena's 2-2. Way inside. This ball down the left field line. And carrying toward the corner and bangs off that corner wall. And that'll be a double for Nomar Mazara. Good start to the 4th inning.
I think it's going to be a foul ball. I couldn't tell where it hit.
Wow.
It didn't look like it was foul by much.
And Mazara now sent back to second base. His manager, Jeff Banishaw, saying, no, hang on a second. Let's see. Well, it looked like that was on the yellow.
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, hard to say from that angle exactly.
Yeah, Brian Gorman is the 3rd base umpire. When the ball hit and kicked back toward Upton, he raised his hand, so he called it foul. But that's a pretty tough one to see exactly where that ball hit. We've watched the replay. I don't know exactly where it hit. Know what it looked like, but.
Okay, so our Ford replay challenge.
Just saw it on the scoreboard, and you almost can't tell on the scoreboard.
Get a better angle.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get overturned based on what the scoreboard showed.
And so again, the ruling was foul ball. Here's the look they were just showing here in-house on the scoreboard. The baseball is.
Has it hit the wall right there?
I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't think so. I don't think that's where it hit. I think that's before it hit the wall.
So here's our problem, right? We can't tell. So I mean, unless we can get a really clear look, then you just have to stay with the call on the field.
I think it's going to be a foul ball, unless that's where it hit the wall.
So the signal was, it is a foul ball.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to get overturned. But it's one that was very close, and it's worth a call. You're down in the game, you got a leadoff hitter with a chance for an extra base hit, trying to get a rally going. I think it's definitely close enough to warrant having it looked at.
Now Mazara turns this one down the first base line, foul. 3-2. And that's low, ball 4. So Nomar draws a walk to start things here in the 4th inning. All right, how about a little history today? Let's go back 42 years. It involves this Angels franchise, one of the great moments from back in the mid-70s.
Manny Minoso looking for his first hit, a runner at first base, 2 out. That is a line single to left. Holy cow, listen to the crowd.
Manny Minoso, and of course Harry Carey, who kind of steals the show there, but Manny Minoso 50 years old with that, his final hit in his big league career, the anniversary today. That is pretty cool. Adrian Beltre, 39 years old, and still piling up the hits. And he'll swing and bounce this one to shortstop. Simmons to second, 1, and the quick turn easily done in time to turn 2. 6-4 to 3, the double play. There's that moment back in 1976, a bit of a publicity stunt by the White Sox. The great Bill Vac bringing Minoso out of retirement for a couple of games in September.
It's a great promotion, but it only works if the guy can go up there and look like like he can still hit. The fact that Manny Minoso got a hit, that's the best part of the promotion.
And
that's great.
He hadn't had a hit in 12 years in the big leagues.
That's a slump.
I mean,
how do you stay in the big leagues?
I mean, how about that? I mean, that's a long time removed to be able to come back and pull it off like that. 1-strike pitch on the way to Profar.
It doesn't necessarily look like the swing he had maybe when he was 25, but he gets the job done at 50 years old, hitting a big league pitch. That's great.
Crazy thing is, Minoso not the oldest to collect a hit in Major League history. It's Profar. Rolls one slowly, first base side, tough play, and they did not get him. But Profar really kind of had to bend himself out of the way of the near tag, and then came down hard. But he has an infield hit.
Yeah, the umpires in this series have had a lot of calls to make, and generally, every time we've seen them have to make a call, they've been right in perfect position to make the call. This one's going to be reviewed too. I don't know. I think when you look at the umpiring in this 3 games, they've done a great job. If you're right on that play, that's still tough to see. You get his foot, let's see, right there. I don't know.
Some quality time on the headsets this inning for.
I think it's going to stand.
Profar for the moment anyway with an infield hit. This one again back in New York now at Chelsea Market in the replay center, where they review the angles that we have as well as several others. Manny already challenged to call this inning. It did not go his way. So now Mike Scioscia challenging this call, and in the span of a half inning, we might see both managers wiped out of replay challenges.
I think they're both going to lose the challenge. Well, Angels are running off the field. They must know something we don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. You saw Scioscia there nodding his head just a moment ago. He was watching a replay up on the scoreboard and obviously convinced that his guy got it done. So let's see if there's take another look ourselves here. See if there's a tag on the elbow. I don't see it. Right there.
I wasn't even looking for that tag.
Nope. And they play the play stands as called.
Yeah, I thought so too. Oh, another call. Great call at first base. Nick Lentz right on top of that. That's a tough one because he looked like he came close to the elbow, came close to his back. He did touch his foot, and all the time in a split second you have to determine if any of that happened before his foot touched the base.
I just
don't know how
find
they
it
do it.
marvelous at these
It is
guys. I don't
amazing.
know how they do it.
I could never be an umpire because we're talking about fans concentrating on every pitch so you don't get hit by a line drive foul ball. The umpire has to do the same thing. Right when you don't concentrate, something happens and you're out of position and you make a bad call. These guys have to be on the ball every second for 3 hours.
Gallo on the next pitch flies out to end the inning, and so we go to the bottom of the fourth, 6-0. Bottom of the fourth inning here. We call it Fandemonium. Rangers fans can get a $1 ticket, $1 parking, and $1 hot dogs for the 105 day game Wednesday, September 19th, courtesy of 105.3 The Fan. It's the Rays and Rangers last dollar hot dog day of the season, and you can use the online coupon code 1 at texasrangers.com/specials to take advantage of Fandemonium. Well, Austin Bibbins Dirks coming on here. Our Who's In, Who's Out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Bibbins Dirks in, and Giovanni Gallardo out.
And for Austin Bibbins Dirks, this will be his 13th ball game. A little bit like Giovanni Gallardo, he'll have to mix in a lot of different pitches. Doesn't have to, he chooses to. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a changeup. Finesse right-hander.
Arcia spoils the first pitch foul. Arcia had a 2-run double in the second inning. So Gallardo could only get through 3 tonight. Rangers bullpen will get some use here. Now, tomorrow, a day off. They will bus tonight down to San Diego and then have the day off tomorrow as this one bounces away from Chirinos. So, for that matter, Jeff Bannister can use as many guys as he wants or needs and not feel too bad about it because everybody will have a day to rest up tomorrow. 1-1 inside. Now our progressive upcoming schedule tomorrow, nothing doing. But then the Padres over the weekend in San Diego, interleague style, pitchers will hit. Then we're back home for the final homestand, the Rays and Mariners, before finishing the season on the road.
I see Tampa Bay on that schedule.
Fly ball out to left field. Chu ranging over, and he will make the catch one away.
So Tampa Bay won today. Generally, when you think of Tampa Bay, you think of an opener, a lot of bullpen guys. Today's their day, one of their days, where they don't do that. Blake Snell pitched today. What do you think Blake Snell's, if you haven't been studying it like I have been, What do you think his record is?
I know it's real. I mean, I know it's good.
He's 19-5.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I would have thought maybe 15 and something, but he's 19-5. I haven't looked recently. He doesn't have, you know, when you look at the other guys, Kluber or Verlander, the rest of them, he doesn't have the strikeouts that they have, doesn't have quite the innings pitched, but he's second to Chris Sale in ERA. So 19-5, if he wins 20 games, he's going to be right in the conversation for Cy Young, that's for sure. And the Rays go to 80-65. That was one. If someone says they saw the Rays being 80-65 in spring training, they know a lot more than I do.
Heck, if they would have said that in June, you would have told them they're nuts.
Yeah.
And they have done a nice job, and they're not going to get into the postseason, but they have certainly made things interesting. Bibbins Dirks to the plate, 1-1. And that one fouled away for strike 2. Foul tip, and that one grabbed cleanly by Chirinos for the strikeout. First strikeout tonight for Bibbins Dirks. Well, Rangers baseball brought to you by Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. Here is David Fletcher now, 0 for 2, reached on an error in the first inning. So Bibbins Dirks on here in relief. Bullpen the rest of the way for the Rangers after Gallardo knocked out through 3 innings. Bouncer down the third baseline, foul for strike 1. So, you know, back to the thing about Blake Snell winning 19 games, and I hesitate to even bring this up. I mean, he's been outstanding, and we've heard now for, I don't know how long has this conversation been going lately, where everybody's talking about, oh, the win for the pitcher, what a meaningless stat. You know, they've really denigrated that stat in the last, I don't know, 5-10 years. This ball driven out to the gap, left field, drops in, base hit. Fletcher with an aggressive turn, but he'll hold. I get it, right? It makes sense.
Yeah, but you know, that may be true, an analytical way of looking at that. Maybe it is true. But if I'm the pitcher, I sure like looking at my baseball card and seeing 19-5. Or
there's no doubt.
If he pitches 3 or 4 more times, maybe he'll be 22-5. That does stand out.
So here's why I bring it up. Jacob deGrom, best ERA right now among qualified pitchers in
what's
baseball.
He won?
He's
12 games.
1.71 ERA. He's 8-9, losing record.
Wow.
8-9.
Well, I remember Kevin Millwood won the ERA in the American League with a losing record. In fact, it was right before he came to the Rangers, I think. So yeah, that's pretty amazing.
That is really amazing. So the best ERA in the game, best starting pitcher by that metric anyway, has only 8 wins. The worst qualifying ERA right now in baseball, Lucas Giolito has a 5.76 ERA. He has 10 wins.
Giolito's a tough one if you want to try to predict what he's going to become. He's got nice stuff, so you could look at him and say big, young, strong right-hander with good stuff. He has a nice future, and I think that's the simplest way of looking at it. But this year, he's had some games where he was just terrible. And then, right when you think he's on his way back to the minor leagues, you see 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 8 strikeouts. So he's kind of been up and down. Certainly the stuff is there to be a great pitcher. But whenever he does pitch good, he must be winning those games, unlike DeGrom. Well, how many wins does he have?
DeGrom 8.
Well, just to make a comparison, Giovanni Gallardo's only had, coming into the game, 14 starts, and he's won 8 games. So I guess that kind of strengthens the argument that wins aren't the bottom line for a pitcher.
I think the new way to measure a pitcher's value has to be run support. Now that guy's good, man. He gets 11 runs a game.
Well, the lower your ERA, the less run support you need, too.
2-1. Ooh, off the face mask. Chirinos. Boy, I hate that every time he freezes up like that. 2-2.
Yeah, that's a direct hit. That's not one that skims off the top of the helmet. That hit just right square in the mask. It's like taking a right hand to the jaw in a prize fight. Almost like he was just sitting there going, I hope nothing bad happened. Took 5 seconds to just think about it and realize, okay, I guess I'm okay. It had to stun him just by his reaction to it.
Check in on Fletcher over there at first base. Trout 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts tonight. And one of the all-time great examples of a guy not rewarded with wins, Nolan Ryan in 1987, led the league in ERA with the Houston Astros at 2.76 ERA, was 8-16. Woo. It's not that he didn't win games, he lost a lot. This one pulled foul. Ooh. Look at the camera well down there. So an Angels player or two hop up to signal, yeah, we're down here, we're okay. Trout reloads that bat. It's a new one with some pine tar, a little bit of the rosin.
Kevin Millwood in 2005, in fact, the year right before he became a Ranger, won the ERA 2.86, and he was 9-11, 30 starts. Came to the Rangers the next year, went with a 4.52 ERA, 1.7 runs higher, and won 16 games for the Rangers. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of on board with that way of looking at wins.
Well, and I definitely
still like to have them, though.
Yeah, no doubt. But I definitely think as we move forward and we see all this bullpenning and the openers for starters, etc., it's going to completely make a mockery out of the win as a stat. I mean, it's just not going to have any meaning.
Well, the other thing is, if teams are successful developing starting pitchers, they're not going to use an opener. Like the Rays use it, but they don't use it when Blake Snell pitches. The Astros are analytically inclined. They don't use it. I think you only use it when you don't have starting pitching. I can't imagine you go into a draft with a high draft pick, picking a kid going, this kid's going to be really good. After we use the opener, he should be able to give us 4 or 5 good innings. You know, it doesn't make any. No. Why would you pay $5 million in the draft for someone you don't think can pitch 6 or 7 innings for you?
3-2, and a foul tip into the mitt again, and Trout strikes out. The inning is done. A couple of strikeouts for Bibbins Stearns. We go to the 5th inning. It's 6-0. for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. Here in Anaheim at the Big A, and off to the 5th inning. Robinson, Chirinos, Ronald Guzman, and then back to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo. Great to have you along with us tonight. I hope you're enjoying your Wednesday evening. Always appreciate everybody who stays up with us when we head out to the West Coast. Chirinos singled in the 3rd inning, and then was thrown out at the plate to win the inning on an Andrews base hit. Hits this ball over 3rd, and that's a base hit out into left field. Robbie will turn first base, but hold there. Little leadoff single. I mentioned that we are headed off to San Diego to start the series there Friday. Our Ford look ahead. Friday night's game. Robinson Chirinos has had great success against the Padres in the 5 games he's played against them. A couple of homers, a couple of doubles, 5 RBIs. So hopefully Robbie can keep it going down at Petco starting Friday night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, National League style. All right, lead man on for Ronald Guzman. Rangers, by the way, have gotten the lead man on every inning but the 1st. They have yet to score. In fact, the last time the Rangers scored was the 8th inning Monday night. One ball, 1 strike on Guzman, who flied out to left field in the 3rd inning, his first time up. Two and one. Guzman with 15 home runs and 56 RBIs this year in his rookie season. Hits this ball on the ground towards second. Ooh, little double tap flip out there to second base, and they get Chirinos. Fletcher, great job to kind of stay with that and juggle it all the way to Andrelton Simmons.
He was able to flip it over there, and Simmons turned it. Would have been a pretty nice play. Looked like that's what he was trying to do. Not a hard hit ball, so it's going to be tough to turn a double play. They're actually kind of fortunate that they even got one on it.
Yeah, it's like that game of flip we see the guys play every now and then. Maybe a little value to that game for those places like that.
I bet you if Andrelton Simmons played in the flip game that he'd be unbeatable.
Chu, 1 for 2. I mean, unbeatable. That's a pretty bold claim.
Well, that's true because there's a lot of middle infielders with quick hands. So yeah, that's probably an overstatement. He'd be good at it, though.
He'd be really good.
Generally, you see pitchers playing that a lot. If he played in a game with pitchers, he would win. People listening right now, watching right now, probably have no idea what that is. Some of them anyway, what flip is. Flip is a game where you get a circle of 5 or 6 players, and someone puts the ball in his glove and flips it up in the air. And the goal is whoever it goes to has to keep flipping the ball.
Line shot to center field, tracked down by Trout. Really good read off the bat, 2 away.
Has to keep flipping the ball. You can bounce it off the chest, however, but if the ball hits the ground, the player who missed it gets a point. And ultimately, you get a certain amount of points, you're out of the game, and it comes down to 2, and whoever the last one standing is wins the game. So that's the flip game, but it takes, you know, good reflexes, good hands, and some games get pretty serious, at least they used to in the old days when the flips were fired at somebody off the knee, off the chest. And that's how you got someone out, was the ball came to you, you just flipped it at him so hard he couldn't return it. Nowadays it looks like a friendlier game.
Odor takes down low for a ball. Rugi 0 for 2. Rangers nearly as many hits as the Angels tonight. Angels 6 runs on 7 hits. Rangers have been shut out on 6 hits. That's ball 2. So Felix Pena has done a good job of working around traffic tonight. 28-year-old out of the Dominican. Formerly with the Chicago Cubs, pitched with the Cubs in relief in 2016 and in 2017. Not exactly eye-popping numbers. Check swing, and that's a strike. 2-1. Pena acquired from the Cubs in a deal for cash considerations or a player to be named later. That was in October of this last offseason. The right-hander has been a really important part for the Angels this year, in a year in which they became quite thin on pitching. And I don't think anybody would have anticipated him making 15 starts. Tonight is his 15th. He's also pitched a couple in relief. Mike Scioscia, his staff ravaged by injury. One of his starters now the permanent DH here. That was sort of half of the plan to begin with, I suppose.
And it took some planning to make that work. Ohtani was going to pitch, but he wasn't going to pitch on a normal five-man rotation. They're going to have to give him extra rest, but they had a plan for it.
Do you think, we were talking about this the other day, the idea of maybe him pitching or playing as a closer and then playing every day in the field or close to every day in the field?
Never happened.
You just don't think it'll never
I
happen?
love the idea,
Why?
and I'd like to see it happen, but I don't.
Is there too much risk him throwing on a play, or?
I don't know. I just don't see it happening. It's too unconventional.
Full count now on Odor. It just seems like there's just so much maintenance to him being a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Way too much for my liking. I mean, I get it, but like it just cuts too much into his ability to hit.
Yeah. And he believes that he can do both. A lot of people that have seen him more than we have believe he can do both. And I'm open-minded to that, and I hope he can, because it's so unique. But the luxury that he has is, if the pitching is not working out, if he's injury prone, if he doesn't come back the same after his surgery, if he has surgery, he can fall back and be a really good offensive player. You could just see it watching him swing the bat right now. Watch him run the bases. You can see how well he runs. And so, you can envision him playing right field or left field, being an all-star caliber position player without even pitching.
Dort takes a pretty big rip, but lofts this one out into medium deep left center. And the inning is over. Rangers leave another man. Halfway there tonight, 6-0 Angels.
California, 16 games left in the year after tonight's game, and in each one of those games, Elvis Andrus swears that he will at some point say to Adrian Beltre, you got to come back next year. He says he's very active in that. Some days like tonight, he might say, see how much we need you next year? He says he's got to be creative. I asked Elvis, I said, do you have a conversation with him about it? And he gave me that incredulous look and said, are you kidding me? He doesn't want to talk to me about that any more than he wants to talk to you about it. So Elvis says he gets creative. Some nights he's like, look how good these young guys are. We're going to be great next year. And on a night like this, he might say, hey, we need you next year. Whatever it takes. He says sometimes it's a joke. Sometimes it's just a quite sly comment. But every day he's going to try to convince his best buddy, Adrian Beltre, to come back and play next year.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if right now Adrian doesn't know what he wants to do. Still thinking about it. See how the season ends.
Ohtani takes a strike, 2-1. Yeah, and he can take whatever time he needs. Let's make this as easy and comfortable as we can make it for him. As long as we get the right answer at the end. Ohtani swings and misses the count, 2-2. The right answer, honestly, is whatever's best for Adrian, but it sure is fun having him around and watching him play. And we're all blessed, very lucky to have had the opportunity, and hope there's more to it. This guy, meanwhile, the next wave of incredible players in the game. They'll take inside. It's a full count on Ohtani. Started the year 23 years old, celebrated his birthday here mid-season. Came over from Japan, and the particulars are such that had he waited a couple of years, he could have gone to the highest bidder for a whole lot of money. Instead, came over early, wanted to prove that he can play in the big leagues, and came over for a lot less money. And it hasn't even been a full year yet. We all believe he's pretty good as he takes a walk here in the 5th. Another guy who's pretty good, standing by for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Rick Renner. Yeah, how about Alex Cora? That is pretty cool. 146 Red Sox. Upton, the triple his last time up. 1 for 2. Bibbins-Dirks to the plate, and there's a swing and a miss. Not leaving the count.
StatCast AI, powered by AWS, will show us some numbers on the triple that Upton hit in the 3rd inning. Came off the bat at 110 miles per hour. Right before that, Ohtani had hit a double over Mazzara's head in right field. We thought Ohtani's ball was hit harder, but actually Upton's sinking line drive was hit even harder than that at 110.
Strike 2 on Upton. Two runs in the 2nd, 4 runs in the 3rd for the Angels. Angels a game under 500. Still plenty to play for them. The Angels coming off back-to-back losing seasons here. It was the first time that they had to endure that since the early 90s, 93, 94, when they went back-to-back sub-500 seasons. And you know that These remaining couple of weeks for Sosha and company important. Ground ball, shortstop. Andrews had to wait on it. Goes to second quickly. Odor relays to first in time. Double play. A 6-4-3. The bases are cleared.
Upton gets down the line pretty well, so Rugi's got to get rid of it quickly and accurately, which he does. The walk to Ohtani is erased.
All right, so now Andrelton Simmons. And he'll foul the first one back our direction. Good night so far for Simmons. Couple of hits, couple of runs scored. So we've had an update about the Red Sox winning their 100th game. The Yankees lost today, 10 games out in the division. The Yankees and A's came into play today, tied for that top wild card spot. But the Yankees lost. Oakland won 10-0. Oakland right now would host that wild card game.
Wow.
They shut out the Orioles on one hit. Liam Hendricks, another start for the A's, went the one inning before turning it over to Daniel Mengden, the regular pitcher, whatever. And Mengden went 5 shutout. In fact, Hendricks gave up a hit in that first inning. And Mengden and 3 other relievers would not allow another in that 10-0 win. Base is empty. And the 2-1. We were talking earlier about Andrelton Simmons and the way he protects the plate, puts the ball in play. He doesn't take a lot of walks, but he does not strike out. 34 straight plate appearances without a strikeout. Longest current streak in the league. And there's ball 4. Walks in the inning. Well, come support a Texas tradition unmatched. It's our first ever Whataburger night at Globe Life Park on Saturday, September 22nd. You can purchase theme night tickets through this special offer and receive a limited edition Whataburger themed Texas Rangers trucker cap. Get your tickets only at texasrangers.com/theme nights. Bibbins Dirks is done. Jeff Bannister out into his bullpen here in the 5th. GMC, Visit your local GMC dealer today. Well, Matt Moore is on here in the 5th inning. And here it's a base runner with 2 out, making his 33rd appearance.
All right. We're going to take a look at the home run package for Jose Fernandez. Yesterday in the 2nd inning, he hit a solo shot that stood up in a 1-run ball game, 1-0 win. Today another home run, this time in the 3rd inning, capped off a 4-run 3rd inning, and that gave the Angels a 6-0 lead. So back-to-back days, first 2 major league home runs for Jose Fernandez.
He takes the ball from Matt Moore. All right, so Tom, first of all, thank you for pointing it out during the break, but got to correct that story about the Yankees and the Oakland A's. So I got tripped up on something, but the bottom line is this: New York still has the advantage in that wild card race. They've lost a game in the wild card race today to the A's, which takes their lead down to 1 game. So the Yankees with a 1-game lead over Oakland. Now 16 games left, and Oakland surging. The Yankees not exactly playing at their peak right now, and so there is certainly a threat that Oakland could overtake them.
Yeah, it was a 4-game lead a week or 10 days ago. The Yankees have gone 5-6, and the A's have gone 9-2.
2-1 pitch.
Yankees are feeling the pressure of that for sure.
Well, they should be. Little flare out to shortstop, and Andrews hauls it in. The inning is done. We'll go to the 6th. Angels still lead 6-0. The 6th inning, and thanks to T-Mobile, fans can receive a 20% discount. And those are for Fridays and the all-you-can-eat seats in the home run porch. And you can get your tickets for the all-you-can-eat seats for September 21st. It's the last Friday home game of the season. Mariners in town. Use the coupon code T-Mobile at TexasRangers.com/specials. Elvis Andrews to lead things off here in the 6th inning, and Felix Pena continuing to work with a pretty comfy lead, and his pitch count very much in check. It's just his 71st offering of the night. A little bit high this time, 2-0. And Pena, he's done it tonight despite having put the lead man on in each of the last 4 innings. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. Rangers have gotten the lead man on, but not going to happen this time as Simmons goes out his opposite number, 1 away. starter getting into the 6th inning here for the Angels, and there is no doubt very much appreciated by Mike Scioscia, who's had to lean on that pen and of course spread the workload out over 16 different starters this year, and many more out of the bullpen as well.
And Pena's done a good job for him. His ERA coming into the game was 4.04.
Liner up the middle, and that one snagged by Simmons. 2 away.
But he had one bad start back on July 29th against Seattle. 1/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 7 runs. So out of his 15 starts now, if you just take that one start out, his ERA is down in the low 3s, which I think is more indicative of the way he's been pitching. And even at 4.03, 4.04, which it was coming into the game, that's still pretty solid. And he's pitched well in this game. Not great. Rangers have hit some balls hard. But bottom line is they haven't scored off him yet. And slider's been very effective for him.
Upstairs to Beltre for ball 1. I mentioned earlier how it was not a real notable trade when they made the deal to get him from the Cubs this last offseason. But he has ended up being a real important piece for the Angels this year. And based on what you were just pointing out, right? I mean, he's pitched really effectively. It's not just that he's filled in where they've needed, etc. I mean, he now represents a pretty promising young pitcher for them, 28 years old. Beltre hits this ball out to left field, but it's going to hang up. And Upton is there, and it completes another quick 1-2-3 inning for Pena. To the bottom of the 6th inning, Rangers trail by 6. Angels have led since the 2nd inning, 6-0 the score here as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Only one remaining Saturday night game left in the season. And you're going to want to be out at the ballpark September 22nd, Rangers and Mariners, a 7:05 game. Get your tickets for the last Saturday night home game of the season, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS. Moore is right after Taylor Ward with strike 1. Ward is walked and grounded out. 0 for 1, but he has scored a run. And in a hole 0-2. Oh, beautiful evening down here in Southern California. 76 degrees at game time. It's dropped a couple of degrees since then. Laid back crowd tonight here in Anaheim. High pop-up out into short right field. Here comes Mazzara, 1 away. Let's check it again with John Radigan.
Yeah, you know, we watch a lot of these guys grow up. Watching Ronald Guzman grow up right before our very eyes has been fun. And I talked to him today about some of this maturation process. I said, what have you been doing? He said, you know, I go searching for information. I said, and where do you find it? And wisely, he said, I find it from the veterans. He said Elvis and Bartolo Colon are the two he goes to the most, and he seeks all kinds of information and perspective from them on various topics. So I asked him, so what's the biggest takeaway from all the info you've gotten from the veterans, those two in particular? And he said that the playoffs are a different game, and I really want to be a part of the playoffs. So obviously, that's not going to happen this year, but that's something that comes up with those guys when they share their thoughts with Ronald Guzman, guys.
Well, that ball blasted out to right field by Arcia, his 4th home run of the year. And it makes it 7-0 Angels.
Pretty good day for the bottom of the lineup. Fernandez has a 2-run homer. Arcia has a 2-run double and now a home run. Fastball center square almost.
So the Angels add to the scoring in the 6th inning. And now to the top of the order, Cole Calhoun, who's 0 for 3. Couple of strikeouts tonight and more. Working out of that stretch exclusively. That's a foul ball for strike 1. Final game of this series. Teams have split the first 2. Angels will host the Seattle Mariners for 4 beginning tomorrow night. And then the Angels, they're going to have a role in the finish of the season for Oakland as well. They've got 2 series left with the Oakland A's. Looks good. That's a strike, 1 and 2. Now this one was started tonight by Giovanni Gallardo. Well, he could only go 3 innings. Austin Bibbins Dirks and now Matt Moore out of the bullpen. Oh, that one shanked foul out of play. Moore began the year in the rotation, has since moved into the bullpen. Rangers hoping that he could maybe find a little of the old Matt Moore out there. Maybe let the ball go with a little more velocity and see if just a different look suits him. The 1-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 called. Calhoun with a hat trick tonight. 3rd time he's struck out. 2 away. That'll give us a moment now to hear from our friends over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
So 2 gone, and here is David Fletcher, 1 for 3. Fletcher lifts this ball out into left field. Chu, couple of steps to his left, and the inning is done. We'll go to the 7th. It's 7-0 Angels.
mobile. Mike Trout is built for baseball. We're going to show some defense from this series. Up against the wall for one, diving, coming in for another, and then a 1-2 hop shot to the plate to throw out a runner at the plate and save a run. He is definitely built for baseball, and whether it's on the offensive side or what we just watched on the defensive side, that's why he's regarded as the best in baseball.
Well, new pitcher in the game for the Angels. Williams Jerez comes on here, left-hander. We saw him Monday night. That was his first appearance since a recent recall from Salt Lake. This will be his 11th appearance overall this year, though, for the Angels. Been up and down a few times. Made his big league debut August 7th against the Tigers in a 2-inning relief stint. Acquired from the Boston Red Sox in late July. He and Ty Buttery, who got the save in yesterday's game, were the prizes for Ian Kinsler. So Jerez ready to go, and Profar takes inside, ball one. Jurickson had an infield hit in the 4th inning, 1 for 2, and he fouls that one back. Today, Profar with a start at third base. Very little that seems new with regard to Profar this year. 60 of his starts this year at short. This is his 39th start at third base. He's also started at first, second. He's been a DH. And he's hit in 8 of the 9 lineup spots this year. Talk about ultimate flexibility with Jurickson Profar this season. One-two pitch, and a little high. Rangers haven't scored now in 16 innings. Shut out yesterday. Shut out today into the 7th inning. They did not score in the final inning on Monday. Profar fouls that one away. The Rangers currently riding a little rough stretch. They have lost 11 of their last 15 games. Immediately after the All-Star break, the team really had played quite well, and even with the shutout yesterday, no one in baseball scores more per game than the Rangers have scored since the All-Star break. Only the St. Louis Cardinals have scored more overall runs since the All-Star game, and they have just one more run. But the law of averages have caught up a little bit to the Rangers. Pitch on the way, and Profar shoots that foul. Wow. That got over there in a hurry. Look at Elvis's face.
Tell the fans to bring a glove. Hanser Alberto's on the bench for the Rangers. He's got a glove in his hand. He jumped up and tried to catch it. It's him down on the left side right there. You see the glove in his left hand. He's ready. So even the ball players are ready for a line drive. Probably got hit by a line drive sitting in the dugout and said, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Popped up first base side. Fernandez in a foul ground. And that is out number 1. Did you ever get hit by a...
No, not in the dugout.
No. That's good.
But that's something that little pop up with him with a glove brings up something I'd love to see in a baseball game. Pop up near the dugout. One of the Rangers runs out, jumps up, and catches it before the first baseman can catch it. Like Dickie Mago coming off the bench to make that tackle in the Cotton Bowl. just so 30,000 people here tonight could go, what just happened?
Have a little story to tell the next day at work.
Yeah.
Gallo 0 for 2. Struck out in the second inning, and he flied out in the fourth. Rangers, no runs on 6 hits so far. Williams Harris, first man out of the bullpen, and Gallo sends this ball high in the air, way out there to left field, and it is gone. Home run number 36 for Joey Gallo. And that was a towering shot, and the Rangers will not be shut out tonight.
Yeah, that's one of those balls that shows Joey's power. When you hit a fly ball over the 390 sign in left field, you know you've got some power. Lefty versus lefty. We mentioned this the other day, that no one in baseball has more home runs against left-handed pitchers than Joey Gallo. I think that's his 13th. He's hit 36 home runs. 13 of them have come against left-handed pitchers.
Well, that was impressive. Big time opposite field power by Gallo. So the Rangers are on the scoreboard, and Robinson Chirinos 2 for 2. Takes low.
Check out the numbers. Came off the bat at 109, 29-degree launch angle. Final projected distance, 406 feet. And an interesting coincidence tonight. All 3 home runs have come on 1-0 counts.
2 balls and no strikes now to Chirinos. That crack of the bat on that home run almost sounded imaginary.
Yeah, you can tell there's a difference when certain guys hit the ball on the barrel of the bat.
It sounded like a hokey movie effect right there.
You often hear a scout or someone in baseball talk about a certain player, and maybe it's the old-time players. I'm not sure who it is, but occasionally you'll hear someone say, you know, I was walking into the stadium today and batting practice was going on, and when I heard the sound of the bat, I knew it was Joey Gallo hitting, for instance. People claim that you can go to batting practice and listen to the sound of the bat off the ball, and it's a little bit different when guys like that make solid contact and hit it off the barrel of the bat. I think it probably is, too. Stands to reason that if a ball comes off the bat that Joey Gallo hits at 110 or 115 miles an hour, it's going to make a different noise than one that comes off the bat at 99 miles an hour.
This one lined out to right field. Chirinos a 3 for 3 night. A weird night. You have some real good performances as a team. Not a whole lot yet to show for it, but with Chirinos dialed in.
Yeah, he is, and he's hit them to all parts of the field too. Nice job there. That ball's not a strike. It's away, and he just smoothly strikes it to right field. So that would be another one we could get a metric on the decibel noise of the ball off the bat. Is a ball that comes off the bat at the exact same miles per hour, 108.9 miles per hour. If it comes off the bat at that speed, does it make the exact same noise?
No way.
2 different hitters using the exact same kind of bat on the exact same speed pitch, hit it the same velocity off the bat. Would the decibel reading of that ball off the bat be the exact same thing?
No.
No? Okay. I have no idea. Just tossing it out there. That's one for the people that are still up watching us to contemplate. Maybe they have an idea on that one. Maybe we've got a scientist listening.
Well, pop up out to second base.
You're not sure, though. You're just kind of guessing, right?
Oh, no, I'm totally guessing. No. But now, you know, you ask for input from people, and you will get it. And the great Kevin Charrington wanted to point out that it was Alabama's Tommy Lewis who came off the bench in the Cotton Bowl.
Dickie Mago was running?
He was the victim.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kevin. See, I'm from Massachusetts. I don't know the Texas history all that well. At least I had one name right. But I'm certainly glad to be corrected rather than leave that out there and not be corrected. So thank you, Kevin, very much for that.
Evan Grant then following that up by pointing out that, yes, you can trust Kevin Charrington because he was there to cover it.
Well, I've seen it on TV, and it is pretty amazing. Kevin's probably written about it, too.
Probably more than once.
Yep.
One and one, the count on Chu. Rangers have a runner out there. We're 2 away. Trailing by 6 runs tonight. Tight. 2 and 1. I had sort of casually thrown a little trivial comment out there earlier tonight. I don't think we followed up on it, so I'm going to bring it up with 2 outs because then I can dangle it over a half inning if we don't get to it. 3 and 1. Remember we told the story Manny Minoso, because today the anniversary of him getting his base hit at the age 50, and I said offhandedly, not the only one and not the oldest one to get a hit in a Major League Baseball game. Amazing as it was, they got a hit at age 50. There are 3 hits by guys older than Manny Minoso in the history of baseball. That one tight and 2 walks. Now,
was one an ex-Ranger?
No, because
so it's not Julio Franco then.
No, and I was wondering if you make some guesses. And Julio Franco at age 48 had 20 hits.
Okay. Julio might have been the oldest to hit a home run, maybe.
Well, you might have something on that. Let's see. Yeah, I think you're right on that one. In fact, you are right on that one.
Oldest major leaguer to ever hit a home run at age 48?
48, Julio Franco. Now, the guy I would have guessed would have been Jamie Moyer somehow as a National League pitcher. He got a couple of hits at age 49. But the 3 other hits at the age 50 or older were all pre-1935.
Okay.
So it's understandable. Nick Altrock with the Washington Senators in 1929 was 52 years old. Well, 1 for 1 that year. Bouncer to the right side of the infield. And Fletcher will throw out Odor to end the inning. Jim O'Rourke and Charlie O'Leary, 53 and 58 years old. Rangers get on the board. Joey Gallo with his 36th home run. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 7-1. Visit your local Buick dealer today. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here. Eddie Butler has come on for the Rangers, third reliever used tonight. And you can see it's his 23rd appearance overall.
Eddie will feature a fastball, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. Say if you had to look at repertoires throughout baseball, that would be a very common one. Those are pretty much the traditional pitches. Fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. Kind of gives you all the different varieties. Slower breaking ball, a hard breaking ball, off-speed changeup, and then your fastball. Now there's different varieties of fastballs, 2-seam, 4-seam.
Well, Butler gets Mike Trout to start this 7th inning. Trout 0 for 3. Trout, you see there, 33 home runs and 68 RBIs. I mean, he has nearly driven himself in as much as he's driven in his teammates.
Wow.
Right? 33 of his 68 RBIs are him.
Yeah.
There's a strike, 1 and 2 the count. It's kind of hard to do over the course of a season. You drive in your teammates fewer times than you drive in yourself. There's a swing and a miss. Trout strikes out. 1 away. But it has happened. Guys who hit 30 or more home runs in a season, who have driven in themselves more than their teammates, it's happened a lot recently. Granderson and Jed Jerko in 2016, 30 home runs and 59 RBIs each. Kyle Schwarber last year did the same thing, 30 and 59. And Joey Gallo last season, 41 home runs, 80 RBIs, drove in himself more than his teammates. Bouncer through the right side of the infield by Ohtani.
Ohtani tends to hit the ball sharply. That's another hard hit ball to right field. That one came off the bat at 109. Actually hit harder than the double he hit off the wall in right field. Ohtani came into the game hitting 291. He's 2 for 3 in this game. I think without pitching and just concentrating on hitting and playing every day, it's like his offense is taking off. I don't know that he would ever reach his potential as an offensive player if he was in a rotation pitching regularly. I don't see how he possibly could. He just wouldn't have time to take all the batting practice and do all the things you needed to do to be a hitter. I'm sure he could still be very good at it. But I just don't know that he can do either one of them, hit or pitch, as well as he possibly could if he was only doing one of them.
Butler grips that one a little too tight. Runs away from him. The wild pitch puts Ohtani at second base.
That was a breaking ball that just got buried into the dirt right in front of home plate. Just tried to snap it off a little too sharply.
Upton had that triple earlier. This one a little high. 3-0 the count. So wait a minute though, the comments you were just making about Ohtani would lead me to believe that if it were up to you, right, and in a different situation, as a general manager, you would just choose one or the other. You would say, look, you're going one way or the other.
I would.
And which way would you go?
I'd want him to be a hitter. As hard as it is to develop a #1 starter, I'd be certainly tempted to do that. But just because of the injury factor, at his age and his talent, the athleticism, I could see him being an all-star caliber outfielder for 15 years, hitting in the middle of the lineup. Personally, I'd go that way. I think a lot of people would pick pitching, though, just because it's so hard to find a #1 starter. and he definitely has the stuff to do that. So I think you could get probably an equal amount of people to pick each one. But that's the way I would go.
2 outs after the Upton groundout. I wonder how much debate, thought, etc. went into the Babe Ruth decision back in the day, or if it was just Babe saying,
I'd love to
"Yeah,
go
I'm done
back
doing
and hear the conversations.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they were taking a guy that was a mediocre pitcher. I mean, that guy was good. Won 47 games and threw 650 innings in back-to-back seasons when he was like 21 and 22. So he was probably on his way to going to the Hall of Fame as a pitcher.
Now, I'm guessing that it was just sort of one of those things where he said one day, I kind of like hitting.
Maybe.
I think we're just good hitting.
I've never heard the story, really. Probably took batting practice and was hitting the ball 75 feet farther than anybody else could, and they just envisioned what actually ended up happening. That one year where he hit 60 home runs, no team in the American League hit 60 home runs that year, 1927. In the years where he won 23, 24 games and threw 325 innings, he was only striking out like a little over 100 batters. And maybe that's all that any of the pitchers were striking out back then.
Chopper up the middle by Andrelton Simmons. What a diving stop by Odor, back to third, and they almost get Ohtani. Really nice play by Rougned Odor, but some heads-up base running by Ohtani to get back in there safely.
They definitely saved the run by cutting that ball off. He looked right at third base. He knew exactly what to do. Knew that Ohtani had taken a turn and might just be able to catch him if he threw it over there.
So now Fernandez, who's become kind of the story of this series, a 2-run homer in the third inning. He had the solo homer yesterday. He has a chance here with a couple of men on base. 7-1 Angels. Ruth, by the way, 1927. I mentioned the year he hit more home runs than any other team in the league. He did that in 1920 as well. Out-homered every team in the American League in 1920. There's a bouncer down to first. Guzman takes it to the bag, 2 in the frame. A couple of men left. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's still 7-1. All right, well, we are off to the 8th inning. Thank you, Rick. And Hansel Robles to get after it here in the 8th inning. Looking at the American League wild card race, and there are the correct numbers. Yankees with one of the wild card spots, the A's with the other. The Yankees currently with a 1-game lead between them, which means that they would host the wild card game, but that battle's certainly not over yet. Rays and Mariners far enough off the pack, really no longer a consideration. There's Hansel Robles making his 47th appearance.
Nice solid season for Robles. Nice ERA. Good amount of strikeouts. Solid opponent's batting average.
His sister Gretel not here today to enjoy the proceedings, but hopefully she's watching on TV. Andrews way in, 97 miles per hour. Elvis 1 for 3. Rangers with 8 hits in this one tonight. Nope. Well, that one ripped over third, but foul. Nice play down the line. Well positioned. Yesterday, Elvis was 0 for 4. The Rangers only managed 2 hits. In the opener on Monday night, Andrews had a single and scored a run. That was in the 8th inning. That was a ball game the Rangers won. And he hits this ball well out to left field, but Upton is there. One away here with the 8th inning. All right, let's check in again down on the field with John Radigan.
Yeah, Dave, you may have seen the guy earlier this week. The Rawlings representative is based here in Southern California. A lot of the guys play Rawlings gloves, and he was just here checking on their gloves. Each of the guys who's a player for Rawlings gets 3 gloves a year. And Jim Hughes, the guy, tells me that most of the guys take theirs in December and then get them all worked in and ready to go for the year. Elvis Andrus is an exception. He says he'll get his 3 gloves this December, but he says Elvis is going to continue to use that glove because he's got a real gamer. And I said, oh, some guys use them for more than a year? He said, oh, yeah. I said, who used it for the longest? He said, I think one of the longest ever was none other than Steve Buechele. And I went and talked to Boo about it, and Jim thought that Boo used it for 15 years. Boo says, I didn't play for 15 years, but he used the same glove for his entire career, the same game glove his entire career, whereas most guys switch them out sometimes more than once a year, certainly every year. Boo said he just kept his in really good shape. He protected it, only used it in the games, not during shagging or any other BP or any time like that, and he was able to keep it. Says he still has it. It's a little loose, a little sloppy, he said, but he could still use it in the game if he could play.
That's a great story, John. I had no idea that Boo used that same glove for 15 years. I noticed on the wall near the press dining room, there was a glove that Bobby Knopp used. Bobby Knopp was a famous second baseman for the Angels, the player of the year here 3 or 4 years with Jim Fregosi, formed a great double play combination, an all-star second baseman, and they had his glove up there. And I'm not sure how many years he used it, but there was a big hole in the pocket of the glove, and he continued to use it. I know a lot of players use their gloves so much that they'll take it to a leather repair shop and or maybe to the Rawlings people and have them put a piece of leather in, sew it in to help replace it. Not sure whether Boo ever did that. But yeah, that's very interesting, John. Thanks for that. I also know Jim Hughes. Jim Hughes was a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. And every time I go down in the clubhouse and see him, he reminds me of the home run I hit against him in Minnesota. I didn't hit that many, so I can remember it.
Well, Beltre just lined out to center field to complete a scoreless 8th inning, and now bottom of the 8th on the way, 7-1.
day started with a double ripped off the right field wall by Shohei Ohtani. Justin Upton with the ball hit even harder. Sinking line drive went for a triple. Andrelton Simmons, little blooper, no one covering. Base hit and an RBI. And then the final touches to that inning, a 2-run homer by Jose Fernandez. The inning started, the rally started, 2 outs, nobody on, and it was actually a cycle, a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. Put the game away early for the Angels.
Well, Taylor Ward leads things off here in the 8th inning. Ward 0 for 2 with that walk and a run scored. And that one off the plate, 1-1. Hanser Alberto is coming to play second base now. So Odor done for the night. Eddie Butler, meanwhile, trying to make it 2 innings here in relief. Matt Moore an inning and a third. Austin Bibbins-Dirks won an inning and 2/3. And there's strike 3 called on Ward, so 1 away here in the 8th. Let's take a moment now and check it again with the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
So Butler with his second strikeout. And now we'll contend with the dangerous Fernando Arcia. Arcia, a 2-run double and a solo homer, having a big night. Yesterday in a 1-0 game, it was the 7th place hitter, Jose Fernandez, who delivered the solo home run, the only run of the game. The bottom of the order was big last night, and it has been huge tonight. Garcia spoils another one, the count 0-2. Fernandez with a 2-run homer. Ward has walked and scored. And Arcia 2 for 3, 3 RBIs and a run scored. Butler's 0-2. Another foul ball. Gallardo started the game. Vanny would love it if Butler could finish this 8th inning without having to go any deeper in his bullpen.
Garcia has an unusual leg kick. Most guys, when they raise their leg up, bend their knee and bring their knee back toward their body. Watch how he does it. He just kind of lifts it straight out. Looks like it's working for him now.
Yeah, it is. He just levered this one out to right field to the bleachers. His second home run of the night. And so his huge night continues. Now 8-1 Angels.
Garcia's angling for some playing time with a night like this. Kind of a straight leg out toward the pitcher leg kick, but he's got it timed well tonight.
First time in Arcia's young career with multiple home runs. 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, 2 homers. Calhoun bounces this one out into short right field and right there for it, Alberto, 2 away. So it'll bring up David Fletcher. This one gets to the ninth inning. Rangers are going to have a lot of work to do. We need a lot of base runners. And there's a strike to Fletcher. 1 for 4 with a single, also reached on an error. And 1. The bouncer left side. Nice pick over there by Profar. And he takes care of Fletcher. Really good defensive play. That ends the 8th inning. We go to the 9th. Rangers need some traffic down by 7. No hidden fee. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale. Beautiful scene from high up as we welcome you back in. New defensive outfield for the Angels. Eric M. Jr. in left, Hermosillo in center. And Mari Blash in right field now. And Miguel Almonte takes over on the mound.
Yep, just getting his feet wet. 4th ball game he'll be in. Tough to judge a guy on judge him statistically with that few appearances. Think about a relief pitcher. You're pitching in short relief and you give up 4 or 5 runs early in the season. It takes a long time to get that ERA down.
Well, Profar will lead things off in this 9th inning. Rangers on the opener, lost yesterday 1-0 in this rubber match. Really been all Angels. Profar with a chopper down to third base. Ward was right there, and there's one away.
Time now for our Coors Light refreshing finish. We're going to go to the 7th inning. 1 out, nobody on base, lefty versus lefty. And Joey Gallo shows his power by driving that ball about 400 feet over the fence in left field. Only run of the game for the Rangers. That was our Coors Light refreshing finish, and a nice home run for Joey Gallo, number 36 on the season.
Gallo takes a swing. Shoots that one right toward the Angels' dugout. You can see that was as alarming to him as it was to anybody else. Monte's 1 strike offering outside. 1-1. Day off tomorrow, and then weekend series in San Diego against the Padres. Interleague play, final interleague games of the year. And they will be played under National League rules. 1-2 the count now on Gallo. So the Rangers will lose the DH. And that's the downside. The upside is for the pitchers, they get to hit. 1-2. Is off the plate. Almonte, his second stint with a big club, called up as a September addition, and he strikes out Gallo 2 away. So Rangers down to their final out, and Robinson Chirinos wants to make sure he is not that final out. He is 3 for 3 so far today. So a really nice day at the plate. Monte, that's a pretty good looking pitch. Not get the call. Monte, the 4th pitcher of the night. Felix Pena went 6 shutout. Bullpen's been able to handle it from there. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-1. This ball hit well and foul. Well, the 3-hit night for Chirinos will help raise his average. It came in at 208. Well, base average was decidedly above league average for him. 327 coming in. He's got the good power in the high on base because he doesn't walk. 1-2 pitch. Check swing, did it go? No. 2-2. A little over 33,000 here tonight, the paid attendance. Almonte's 2-2 pitch. There's a swing and another foul ball. Trying to get the Angels to this series win. The Angels will turn around tomorrow, open up a series here at home against the Mariners. Only run tonight on the Gallo homer in the 7th. Rangers had 8 hits tonight. And a swing and a miss. Chirinos strikes out to finish this one tonight. It's a 1-2-3 for Miguel Almonte. Rangers had a lead man on a number of innings tonight, but just couldn't get anything started offensively. And they dropped the finale and the series. Final score today, 8-1. Coming up, Rick Renner, Mark McLemore, and Mike Bassick back in studio, ready to bring you some of the highlights and post-game analysis from this one. For Tom Grieve, John Radigan, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Thank you for watching tonight. Stay with us. More Rangers coverage coming up right after this.